Hola, amigas, amigos, bienvenidos a Cómics XXI. Yo soy Marcos Ordóñez y hoy vamos a hablar de Chris Ware. Chris Ware fue el invitado de mayor relevancia que estuvo en el Salón del Cómic de Barcelona, en el Cómic Barcelona, este abril pasado, este abril del 25. Relevancia porque además de su presencia en el salón, se inauguraba al mismo tiempo una exposición producida por Ficómic y el Centro de Cultura Contemporánea de Barcelona, una gran exposición que había recorrido ya algunas ciudades europeas, en la que se mostraba una buena cantidad de originales de Chris Ware y se ahondaba un poco en su filosofía. Ficómic siempre ha querido que algunas exposiciones de las que organizaba, en este caso con el CCCB, fueran más largas, fueran mucho más allá del Salón del Cómic. Claro, la verdad es que es una pena cuando uno a veces visita eventos de cómic, el pensar que cosas que han llevado tanto tiempo y tanto esfuerzo ponerlas ahí en una exposición desaparezcan en 4 días, ¿no? Bueno, en este caso ha habido una exposición suficientemente larga, desde abril hasta noviembre, con un gran éxito de público. Y nosotros hemos preparado un vídeo sobre Chris Ware y esa exposición. Hemos contado con la inestimable participación de Jordi Costa, el comisario de la exposición, que además interviene en este vídeo con un poco su retrato de la persona y el estilo, el artista de Chris Ware. Lo complementamos todo con 2 mini documentales, uno sobre la vida en Chicago y su ciudad donde desarrolla su trabajo Chris Ware, y el otro es también de acuerdo con el CCCB, la entrevista que Jordi Costa mantuvo con el artista. Esta exposición también ha traído, dentro de otros marcos y otras exposiciones del Centro de Cultura Contemporánea de Barcelona, la presencia, por ejemplo, de grandes protagonistas de la vida de Chris Ware, como son o como han sido Art Spiegelman o Charles Barnes. Muy bien, amigas, amigos, espero que disfrutéis de este vídeo y nos vemos muy prontito. Adiós.
Chris Ware, 58 años, alcanzó gran notoriedad a raíz de la publicación, en 1994, de su serie Acme Novelty Library. Sus sucesivas series han sido un gran éxito de crítica y de público. Jimmy Corrigan en el año 2000, Building Stories en el 2012 y Rusty Brown en 2019. Sus temas nos hablan de los problemas de las personas, de sus relaciones y de cómo les afecta vivir en este mundo. Ware ha revolucionado la narrativa de los cómics. Dibuja sin un guión previo y el orden de lectura cambia bajo la voluntad del creador. Inició su carrera artística en los años 80 en la sección de cómics del periódico universitario The Daily Texan en Austin. Art Spiegelman se interesó por su trabajo y lo fichó para su revista Raw. Chris Ware siempre insiste en que hay que leer las imágenes, no solo mirarlas. Y comenta: después de cierta edad dejamos de ver realmente. Dedicamos nuestro tiempo a nombrar, categorizar, identificar y comprender cómo encaja todo. Ha participado en el diseño y edición de los clásicos Gasoline Alley y Crazy Cat, auténticas obras referenciales en la carrera de Chris Ware. Otros cómics fundamentales para su aprendizaje han sido Little Nemo y Charlie Brown y Snoopy. Chris Ware tiene en su haber la friolera de 19 premios Eisner y numerosos premios Harvey. La exposición Chris Ware, Dibujar es pensar, ha sido una producción del Centro de Cultura Contemporánea de Barcelona y FICOMIC, la entidad organizadora de Cómics Barcelona. Ha sido el gran acontecimiento del año en el mundo de los cómics en nuestro país y durante 7 meses ha divulgado el enorme talento de Chris Ware. La exposición ha estado comisariada por un auténtico experto en el universo de los cómics, Jordi Costa. Anteriormente, esta muestra había visitado algunas ciudades europeas, por ejemplo París, estando ubicada en el Centro Pompidou. La exposición ha mostrado los originales y también el material ya impreso, un tema que interesa mucho a Chris Ware, ese proceso y ese cambio. En diferentes ocasiones, la prestigiosa revista The New Yorker ha solicitado los servicios de Chris Ware. El dibujante ha llenado esas portadas con su aguda visión de la realidad, que ayuda a entender en una sola imagen la dimensión del problema. La exposición ha mostrado muchos originales, enmarcados por unos grandes vinilos que reproducían la marca personal de Chris Ware, haciendo de la experiencia de la visita una inmersión total.
Chris Ware es uno de los grandes creadores de formas y lenguajes del cómic contemporáneo, y lo que hace, de alguna manera, tiene que ver con un profundo conocimiento del medio y de su historia. Él, de alguna manera, en el cómic de los orígenes, detecta una libertad formal y expresiva que, de alguna manera, el clasicismo, o sea, el momento en que el mercado impone una serie de códigos, el código realista para el cómic de superhéroes o de aventuras y el dibujo satírico para un cómic más de humor e infantil, de alguna manera dejó de lado, ¿no? Es algo parecido a lo que pasa en la historia del cine cuando llega el sonoro y todas las posibilidades expresivas del cine mudo se quedan interrumpidas antes de tiempo. Chris Ware ha sido creador de obras fundamentales, a cada una de ellas ha dedicado prácticamente entre 10 y 12 años de trabajo. Jimmy Corrigan, Fabricar historias y Rusty Brown, y en todas ellas hay tal invención de lenguaje que de alguna manera ha influido muchísimo a todos los dibujantes coetáneos. Max dice con mucha razón que estamos viviendo en la era Ware. No hay dibujante contemporáneo que pueda ponerse delante de una página en blanco sin aprender algo o tomar algo de de lo que ha hecho Ware en toda su obra. Preparar a su lado una exposición como Chris Ware Dibujar es pensar ha sido un placer por su generosidad, por la manera en que lo ha facilitado todo, por su, yo creo que gran altura humana como persona. Yo creo que eso es fundamental también, considerar que Chris Ware no solo es un gran artista, sino que es un gran humanista y que en sus obras de alguna manera llega, yo creo que a la médula o a la esencia de lo humano, ¿no? De la misma manera en que algunos de sus escritores más admirados como Tolstoy o como Joyce de alguna manera llegaron a detallar prácticamente como casi todos los matices de la experiencia humana. Chris Ware, por otra parte, ha desarrollado un estilo absolutamente propio, distinguible, diagramático, muy icónico, con formas aparentemente sencillas, pero que se abren a una gran complejidad, una complejidad narrativa y muchísimos niveles de lectura. O sea, la narración de Chris Ware nunca es lineal. Parece compleja, pero da la impresión de que dota al lector de un superpoder para entender una información puramente iconográfica y puramente visual que permite, de alguna manera, contener el universo en una página de cómics. Junto a sus ficciones, su labor como portadista del New Yorker también acredita su gran talento como cronista de la realidad americana, de la América pandémica, de la América de la polarización, de la América de los conflictos raciales y de los tiroteos en los institutos. Para mí Chris Ware es un autor absolutamente inagotable y creo que solo el hecho de sentirnos sus contemporáneos, o sea, ser sus lectores en el momento en que él está creando, es un grandísimo privilegio. Yo creo que es, pues eso, es como haber convivido pues, con uno de los grandes genios, ¿no? de la literatura, del cine o de lo que fuera. Es un grandísimo genio de la historieta y de la narración en imágenes.
Look, more trash sculpture. Those are pretty nice, actually.
Yeah.
My day is entirely predicated on the schedule of the Oak Park school system. In the morning, I get up fairly early before my wife and daughter and sit and write in my diary for a little while and then make breakfast for my daughter, and then my daughter and I ride the bike to school. And then I come back and I work between the hours of 8 and about 2:45 or so, and then I have to go pick up my daughter from school. So I used to work all day and all night long in my 20s or so, but as I've gotten older and as a dad, I just can't do that. Being called an artist is certainly extremely flattering, and it's not anything I necessarily ever expected. There's something about being a cartoonist that seems like an inherently humble sort of activity that I kind of like. It's just me sitting at a table and I do what I do. So, I mean, I guess that's one possible route to making what might be called art. I was kind of, not the most athletic or popular kid. So I started drawing comics, I think, because it was a way of both defining myself amongst my peers and also a way of disappearing into myself and sort of protecting myself from them. So, and avoiding physical combat or whatever. That's really the only thing I've ever been able to do is kind of draw. It seemed to me like a miraculous sort of ability. I start every page generally on a piece of board that's approximately about 2 by 3 feet or so. I draw everything in non-photo blue pencil, try to find where the figures are in space in the blue, and then when that is done, I go over those particular emphasized lines in black ink. When this page is photographed, the blue pencil will not appear at all. It will drop away, and all that's left will be the black line. From there, I add in a layer of colors. Generally, each page takes around 40 hours, strangely enough. That's not like I chose 40 hours because it's the work week or something, but it averages out to about that. And a lot of that is just me getting up and walking around, hating myself and feeling uncertain and, giving into dread or, feeling that it doesn't work or rereading or trying to avoid work or any number of things.
I mean, have you ever just woke up one day and thought, God, what am I doing? Is this me?
Every strip, all the lettering that you see is all a product of my hand. But I realized that the real process that goes into comics, it's not pictures with accompanying text. It's a psychological process of reading pictures. It's a symbol system. For a while, I completely quit using words in my comics. I was telling what happened rather than making it happen on the page. Then I became more attuned to the internal rhythms and the sounds that are created in the mind when one reads pictures only. There's a certain kind of weird, invisible, soundless music that's created. And then when I started reintroducing words into the comic strip, I tried to do it in a more careful way. As far as I'm concerned, the page composition is more important than the individual panels. When I'm composing my pages, the way that the individual panels line up and kind of inform each other is extemporaneous, but there are always things that happen on the page that actually add meaning to the overall structure of the story. When you spend a week on a page, it takes maybe 15 seconds to read. This is the page from a chapter of a very long book I've been working on for a very long time, titled Rusty Brown. I started this in 2001, and I've been working on it more or less steadily ever since, with interruptions for other stories and books and projects. So this first half of the book will be in excess of 300 pages. I like long books. There's something interesting about sitting at a table for a couple of decades working on a book that takes 3 or 4 hours to read. My daughter said recently, "We're weird, Daddy. We don't have anything modern in our house. What's wrong with us?" I tend to arrange and collect things. Maybe that's part of being a cartoonist, is ordering and arranging things. I guess I started getting interested in old toys when I got interested in old comics, and there was certainly a relationship there between the two, and I like looking at the stuff. It was Peanuts that really got to my heart. I feel like Peanuts is the point at which comics really became a medium of emotional connection to readers. Charlie Brown is the first cartoon character for whom you really feel something. Not only do you feel through Charlie Brown, but you feel for him. He's the first empathetic cartoon character. The fact that Charles Schulz was able to put that empathy and sense of connection into a character allowed for my generation then to try to write stories about actual human feelings as opposed to the superhero kind of stuff that we'd grown up with. The whole idea of a serialized comic strip really is endemic to Chicago, starting here with the Tribune. The publishers there very specifically came up with the idea of telling a regular story that readers would get involved in on a daily basis. And everybody paid attention to the Gumps or Gasoline Alley or Little Orphan Annie or something. I sort of feel like I'm kind of part of a tradition. The sort of hominess of the Chicago cartooning at that time appealed to me early on, and I think I kind of now I understand why. There's a real unpretentiousness to the city of Chicago, especially as New York has kind of become the city of the 1%. Chicago has stayed steadfastly the city of the 99%. There's an American honesty to it that I like. Woohoo, got 2 panels drawn. Time for lunch. Yeah. I never expected in any way to make a living doing what I'm doing. I thought I would just be the weird guy working in the art supply store, or the frame shop, or the bakery that people would point to and say, he's the crazy guy working on that long graphic novel for, the past 30 years, which they still very easily could do. I just don't work in a bakery. But I'm certainly grateful for it, but it wasn't what I in any way expected. Well, I certainly can't pretend that it's not a very lucky thing to occasionally get to do a New Yorker cover. In fact, I frequently think I can't believe this is happening. It's really the only periodical publication in America, if not in the world, that respects its artists as artists. You are not told what to do unless you want to be told what to do or you want guidance. Otherwise, your drawing is treated as a single image. All you have to do is make sure that the title, The New Yorker, is on there somewhere. Building Stories was a book that I worked on for 11 years. The story itself revolves around a woman who goes to art school, gives up on art, and then has a family in Oak Park, which is literally the neighborhood that we were in.
Is it really too much to ask for just 1 hour of not being a mom every once in a while? She's his daughter too, for Christ's sakes.
So that's kind of what the book is about the exchanging of one life for the other and the sort of guilt that's associated with that. It came out serendipitously at a time when everybody thought that books were going to disappear and we'd all be reading on little glowing screens everywhere, which fortunately doesn't seem to be the case. People still seem to like books. So this is it's a box that contains 14 individual pamphlets, books, foldouts, etc., that can be read in any order, designed that way because I think that's more the way that we experience life and remember life. This particular book here is about one day in the main character's life. It's designed like a little golden book. This is represents the memories of her when she's kind of given up on art and art school, living alone in her 20s in the city of Chicago. A book itself is sort of the perfect metaphor for a human being. It's got a front and a back, it's got a spine, and it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. think that there's a lot of inner turmoil and conflict, and that's what stories are supposed to be about, is to try to understand that. Way early on, I wanted to try to create stories that got at emotions that felt real, a strip that you weren't sure whether it was supposed to be funny or sad. I'm not trying to depress anybody. I'm just trying to portray what I think it feels like to be alive. That's really the stuff that lasts, whether it's a sense of what it feels like to be alive in a room talking to somebody or alone in a room awash in your own uncertain thoughts. That's really what it comes down to. And I think that as human beings, we can't really be any better or hope for anything better until you can empathize with other people and to try to feel not only for them, but hopefully in a sense, even maybe through them a little bit. There's so much storytelling that's not like that, that it feels like comics are a good place to do it. We all drew as kids, right? We liked to draw. And then at a certain point, maybe around age 7 or 8, our teachers told us, okay, stop drawing and listen and only read. And I think that's a big mistake, because drawing reflects the way that we see the world and we think about the world and we understand the world. And I came to this conclusion as a cartoonist especially, maybe sometime in my 20s, when I realized by trying to plan something ahead of time, it's a mistake. And if I just trusted the drawings on the page and let the drawings not only control the story, but to create their own story, which was already in my mind, that the pages and the work that I was doing suddenly came alive in a way that I had never expected they could.
Creiem que una de les claus d'aquesta exposició era centrar-nos a col·locar el focus en el llenguatge i no tant ensenyar al públic i als visitants a llegir les pàgines de Ware, sinó directament demostrar com aquestes pàgines d'alguna manera s'activen amb la mirada a través d'estratègies i dispositius molt diferents. Els amants del còmic ja havíem descobert tot això del que posen en pràctica Ackman Novelty Library, però després Jimmy Corrigan va donar l'oportunitat de que guanyessis molts més lectors. I a Jimmy Corrigan realment hi ha molt desplegament de recursos, però a mi m'agradaria esmentar especialment la manera en què els teus personatges interpreten. Jo crec que els teus personatges són molt bons actors. L'escena en la que Jimmy Corrigan està parlant per telèfon amb la seva mare, la manera en què el seu llenguatge corporal ens parla de la seva timidesa, de la seva inseguretat, de la relació de poder i d'amor odi que hi ha entre ell i la seva mare, és increïble.
My attempts at trying to communicate inner human emotion via gesture and posture and all those things that we do every day as people. I mean, I think it's one of the things that comics can do best if you can handle it right. I feel especially then, I felt very uncertain of my ability to do it, and it felt rather exaggerated when I would go back and reread it, and I would sometimes have to tone it down, like sometimes it seemed a little overacted or a little stagey. As a cartoonist or even as any kind of artist, you have to think, how are these things going to live in somebody's memory? Because that's really where art lives. It first exists as a thing, either as a painting or a movie or a book, and you experience it, but really the fundamental value of it is how you remember it.
Llegint-te ens hem anat adonant compte de que el factor humà és al centre de la teva obra. De tota manera, tu tens molts altres interessos. Building Stories també revelava el teu gust i la teva fascinació per l'arquitectura. I aquesta idea de les estructures intrincades, després a Rusty Brown parles també de com els floquets de neu, que tenen aquesta estructura única, permeten també entendre l'estructura d'una narració que implica diversos personatges, i allà jo també crec que arribes a dos particulars cims. Un d'ells és la manera en què t'apropes a un personatge com Jason Lynn a través de la corrent de consciència. Crec que en còmic no s'havia fet mai això, o no s'havia fet d'una forma tan precisa tan acurada i tan sofisticada. I després Joan Acol, que realment jo crec que és el cim d'aquesta mirada humanista, perquè és una figura que acabem percebent directament com una persona real.
That's been kind of my aim all along, is just to, as I get older and hopefully become slightly more skilled at understanding human life and other people, that I can also maybe write about it in a more precise and honest and real way. I mean, and it kind of reflects what I think we all try to do as human beings, is just to simply try to be better people and to understand other people.
Jo crec que ho veig com una prolongació d'aquesta mirada humanista, tot el que fas per New Yorker, on directament és el moment en el que estàs més en contacte amb la realitat i en la realitat d'un moment que està realment canviant.
I don't do political artwork, mostly because it doesn't have much of a shelf life. I'm more interested in writing something that'll communicate to people who haven't been born yet. So when I write about something that's political, it's about how it affects people's everyday lives, not about, say, the politicians themselves or the situations themselves. But I think if I can write about everyday people's lives, which I try to do on the covers of the New Yorker, specifically with things that I have either experienced directly or heard about or seem suggested by experiences that I've had. One of the covers portrays a crossing guard in an African-American neighborhood. She's an African-American woman who would get so mad at people not paying attention to her, asking them to slow down and stop, that she would take her stop sign and bang it on the ground. One of the covers in the exhibition came from just simply witnessing that at a time in American history, which I guess it is now, say 5 or 6 years ago, when all of a sudden white people started seeing the police abuse, if not police killings, of African Americans, which is something that's been going on for decades and decades, that white people just simply weren't necessarily seeing. But all of a sudden, that was made apparent because of this new technology. So I try to write about how things affect us as people, not the larger political issues, if that makes any sense at all.
El que és cert és que aquesta és una retrospectiva, però tu tens encara molta carrera per davant, no? Hi ha molts projectes oberts, i per acabar aquesta conversa m'agradaria preguntar-te una mica com veus aquest futur, no?
I sort of feel like I'm at a midpoint in my life, and I have a lot left to do. I'm working on 3 books and continue to work on them, and will do for many years. And I try to get better with everything I do, and there's so many young cartoonists working so hard and trying to get at something a little bit finer, sense of reality and human life. I see some of the best comics being done coming out of Europe, actually. Olivier Schrouwen's Sunday, he's a Belgian cartoonist living in Germany. Miguel Villa in Italy is a wonderful artist. Maria met him here in Spain, Ana Galvin in Spain. There's a civility here that is eroding away quickly in America. And there's a trust between people here, and there's a respect for other people and a respect for art. You have something here that is very fragile and special. It makes me feel hopeful when I'm here, and I want you to hold on to it and try to cultivate it in the way that you are. It's a really wonderful, delicate thing. And I thank you for letting me be a small part of it.